Podcast title, The Double Wonder Between Jamadi and Rajab. The original Arabic statement goes like this. Al-Ajab Kullil, Ajab Baina Jamadi wa Rajab. Welcome, dear listeners, to Mystic Intersections, where spiritual history meets sacred insight. Today we explore a prophetic mystery passed through centuries, culminating in a moment that forever changed spiritual history. How marvelous, how exceedingly marvelous, is that which has occurred between the months of Jamadi and Rajab. Let's uncover what happened in that sacred interval and why it still matters. Part 1, the prophetic phrase and its echoes. This phrase may trace back to the very origins of the Arabic calendar, possibly around 966 BCE, when, according to tradition, the prophet Salih helped establish a sacred rhythm for time. It was later attributed to the Prophet Muhammad, deepened by Imam Ali, and finally joyfully exclaimed by the Bab, marking a profound turning point in sacred history. Part 2, the first light, affirmation of Christ. In 1844, on the 5th of Jama'ah, the Bab declared his mission. Weeks later, in Rajab, Mullah Hussein met Baha'u'llah in Tehran. Upon reading Mullah Hussein's letter, the Bab, while in the company of Qudus, exclaimed, "How marvelous, how exceedingly marvelous is that which has occurred between the months of Jamadi and Rajab." Baha'u'llah had recognized the Bab, not just as a teacher, but as the promised manifestation, and thus quietly the return of Christ, now as the Father, had begun. Part 3, another Rajab, 1270 Eko, the sojourn, withdrawal into silence. Following betrayal within the Babi ranks, Baha'u'llah withdrew to the mountains of Kurdistan, a sacred seclusion. For 2 years he remained veiled, mirroring a spiritual crucifixion. The light had appeared, but the world wasn't yet ready to receive it. Part 4, the last Rajab, 1272 AH, the gracious embrace. His return, Baha'u'llah's return to Baghdad, marked the beginning of a divine re-engagement. His teachings radiated like spring sunlight. Gradually, hearts awakened. Baha'is view this as the fulfillment of the verse, and the earth shall shine with the light of its Lord. Part 5, what makes this interval so marvelous? Jamada to Rajab marks more than a calendar gap. It signals the appearance of the Bab's revelation, its recognition by Baha'u'llah, and the convergence of two divine lights, light upon light, and yet the rejection of the light, time and again by very people that claimed perception. This last Rajab symbolically echoes winter turning to spring. Spiritually, fulfillment of guidance to the straight path. Part 6, the resurrection reimagined. Islamic tradition, Qiyamah, the resurrection as in Christianity and Judaism, is often seen as apocalyptic. But Imam Sadiq revealed, the rise of the Qayyim is the resurrection. In 1844, the resurrection arrived. Not the end of the world, but the renewal of divine revelation. Part 7. Echoes from Sunni and Shi'i tradition. Sunni traditions describe global turmoil and a climactic astonishment between Jamada and Rajab. Al-Ajab kull al-Ajab bain Jamada wa Rajab, thumma naqatun maqtaba, khair min daskarat taqallumiyat alf. How marvelous, how exceedingly marvelous is between Jamadi and Rajab. Then a she-camel with a hump is better than a palace that carries 100,000. Narrated by Sayyid ibn Tawus, Al-Malahim, Al-Fitan, Vol 1, Porom 102. Same as echoed by Jesus in such occasion saying, "Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains." Matthew 24:16. The dead, meaning the disbelievers, will be uprising and clashing against the living, the new believers, a day when souls are tested and truth is unveiled. And through the lens of Baha'i teachings, these very events unfolded in 1844 with the rise of the twin revelations, final reflection. So what occurred between Jamad and Rajab? The return of Christ, not metaphor, but real. A new spiritual era, not awaited but arrived. And a wonder so great the Bab himself cried out, "How marvelous, how exceedingly marvelous is that which has occurred between the months of Jamadi and Rajab." Let us be among those who recognize such light and follow it when it dawns again. Outro. Thank you for listening. If this message moved you, share it with someone whose heart seeks the light.